Hello, welcome to Todd Miller TV. Today with Oana. I think you've probably been, we should go count like how many episodes you've been on, because it's probably 150 of 500 and something. It's been on a lot of episodes. Because, you know, the old episodes were me talking.
Yes.
Just me. And then eventually Oana kind of found her way in there. And then people wouldn't watch it unless Oana was on it. So I had to have her on all the episodes. Okay. So real estate is cyclical. And when we got in the market, it was a stable market, and then it got hot, and then it tanked, and then all the foreclosures happened, right? And then we saw that, we were involved in that, and then there was the investor market where the homes were cheap and investors were buying it, the flippers, and now we have the strong market with no inventory, right? Now, throughout that whole lifetime of real estate, the brokerage model is something that persists. It works in all markets, right? But all other types of business models in real estate don't always work. So let's talk about some models that only work when homes sell really fast and prices are appreciating. So tell me, what models do you think would work that would be a great idea for a business? However, if the market turned and started declining, that model would stop working. So give me an example of something like that.
Flipping.
Flipping, okay. So why doesn't a flip... So flips are actually super easy if prices are appreciating. Yes. And there's a lot, especially a lot of homes on the market, right?
Well, it works whether there are a lot of homes on the market or not. Where flipping works best is where you have... fast appreciation. So if you don't have a lot of homes on the market, flips work really well because you go ahead and you fix the house, you put it back on the market, and it'll sell very quickly because there's a lack of inventory. And maybe you don't even have to do as much to it. If there are a lot of homes on the market, then maybe the rehab that you do is maybe a little more. So maybe you do a glass backsplash, maybe you put in stainless steel appliances, and then you put it on the market and you sell it. And the idea is that you buy the house under market value, maybe not a lot under market value, but just under market value. You put a few dollars in, and during that process, time flies and appreciation skyrockets, and now you can put the house on the market. It's been fixed up, it's beautiful, and it sells for more money. This is something that has been going on for forever and a day, and Vegas, a lot of people have made a lot of money doing that in Las Vegas. It's still going on. It's just a lot harder to do, and the reason for that is because we have such low inventory levels that homes are hard to come by, and so it makes it more difficult for flippers to get properties. So but it's still possible. So
unless you have a source for like getting a property not through the normal marketplace, which is very efficient, right? Right. Unless you can somehow grab these properties cheap to flip them, it's difficult to do, okay? Right. Why then, when market is stagnant and it takes properties a long time to sell, or in a declining market, even if you get it at a discount, why doesn't it work?
Okay, so in a declining market, what happens is you buy the property for $100,000, you put $5,000 into it, and then by the time you go to sell it, it's only worth $90,000. So that's the problem with a declining market. Okay. The idea is that you do it inversely, where you pay $100, you put $5 into it, you sell it for $120, and life is good. Okay.
What about the market where, you know, the numbers make sense, but it takes you 8 months to sell the house? Why is that? Like, what's the problem with that?
So there are carrying costs. There are a lot of hidden carrying costs that people who don't do this regularly omit. So what I mean by hidden carrying costs are the risk of vandalism, risk of theft. Homes that lay vacant tend to have more problems with them, particularly plumbing problems. So hot water heaters don't like vacant homes because they do need water to be circulated through them, and plumbing in general doesn't do well with a home that's vacant. So things like that tend to deteriorate. A vacant home will deteriorate much faster than a lived-in home. So if you buy the house on day one and you fix it and it's all great and it takes you 8 months to sell it, by the time you sell it, you will have new repairs to do because that house will have deteriorated. Now, are those repairs great? Probably not. Providing that you haven't had any squatter problems, that you haven't had any vandalism, you might be okay. But vacant homes tend to attract problems both related to the home not being used and related to being vacant and an attractive nuisance.
Okay. Okay, so the bottom line is there's only certain times in a market when flips really work.
Right.
And the rest of the time it kind of doesn't really work. Like it just, there's not much of a market for it.
Right.
Or it's harder to do because you got, these people want to flip homes but they really can't.
Right. So what happens is when it takes a long time to sell homes, then your better option is, rather than letting the property lay vacant, is renting the property and getting some cash flow going, so you're not paying utilities, you're not paying things like that on your own. The house is being used, and that's great, and you're getting some money in your pocket. And then when the market turns again, then that would be a time to go back in, rehab the house yet again, and then put it on the market to sell.
Okay, good. Well, I agree with that. I agree with all that. I mean, you know, I get people all the time that call and go, "Hey, I'm thinking about flipping some houses. Can you help me out?" And it's like, well, you've been watching HGTV, and you see how fantastic it is, and they spend way too much money on the house. Oh, we only put $135,000. No, we hope to make a $200,000 profit. And that never works.
Yeah.
Like, that's the stupidest thing. That's for TV. Real flippers would never ever spend $135,000 on a flip. That's just.
So I had a lady call me this past week. I have to share this with you.
Okay.
And she called me and she said, "Well, I'm looking to buy a house." I said, "Well, that's great." And she said, "Well, I'm not going to pay full market value. I want a house that's 30% in market value. Can you find that for me?" And I said, "If I found that, I'd buy it. You're not getting my house."
Right, exactly.
You know, why would I hand over a house that's 30% in market value to somebody else? I would buy that house.
Yeah, I know. I think people miss the whole, oh yeah, there's these houses there, but I just can't pull it off. No, yeah, I mean, you could always find somebody with the money and go, "Hey, let's go partners on the house. Let's, you know, we get it cheap."
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Well, thanks for being on the show today.
You're welcome.
That's the update, and hope to see you on a future video. Thanks.